Welcome to this tutorial. Today I will go ahead and show you how you can actually go ahead and resize the volume. So we will do that part today. Up till this point of time we've done mainly prep work. So let's go ahead and shrink it and see how that works. First off, I need to mount it. So I'm not sure if it's mounted already. Oh, okay, it is. It's 3.9 gigabytes. This is actually, let's just say that it's 4, and circle it to 4, but because 16 megs doesn't really matter, and it doesn't show here further than the first decimal point. Anyway, so it's 4 gigabytes, and now we are going to resize it to 1. So at the end it should say 1 here, but it's not likely that it's going to say 1. It's probably going to be below, probably going to be slightly below 1, so keep that in mind. When you see below 1, that's not going to be my mistake or something like that. That's just the way that the system works. It's going to take a few megabytes away from it. Anyway, in order for us to resize this, we need to unmount it first because we cannot do this live. So you mount, and let's go ahead and find it. So MNT. Okay, it's LV reduce. There we go, it's unmounted now. And we need to, next up, we need to do a file check on the file system in order to make sure that everything is fine. In order for us to perform that file check, we will use a certain command, but before we go ahead and do that, let's just try resizing the file system and see if we get an error message or a warning. It's not an error message, it will be a warning. So if we type in resize 2fs, I've mentioned this command before, but we haven't really used it. Well, you won't use it unless for XFS anyway. So resize 2fs, and for dev, let's say Lyra 1 new, and let's say it's 1 gigabyte. Press enter, and there you go. It says please run e2 fsck -f first. What does this -f mean? What is generally -f as an argument in commands? Well, force, basically. No matter what, go ahead and do it anyway. You can type in e2 fsck --help, and you can see the F option here. It says force checking even if the file system is marked clean. You want to be sure that all is well and nice and fine and dandy and however you wish to call it. So let's go ahead and type in dev Lyra and new. I do believe that it is new, yes. So go ahead and press enter. There you go, it performs 5 passes in order to make sure that everything is well, so no problems there. Let's go ahead and clear the screen as we are not going to be needing this anymore. Let's type in LV reduce space L1 dev Lyra new. Does anybody see anything wrong with this? So let me give you a hint. There is nothing wrong with the command itself in terms of syntax or anything of a kind. Actually, this command should work without any problems. But there is something wrong with the logic of it. Oh, can you guess what? Well, you can press pause and dwell on it if you like, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. This command will reduce the logical volume size, and you will reduce the logical volume size with this command before you reduce the size of the file system, which is not something you want, which is really not something you want to do. Anyway, let's not use it, and let's use resize. Well, I think I have this one already somewhere around here. There we go. If I press enter, resizing the file system. Okay, so all is well, no problems there. Now let's go ahead and resize the logical volume. I think I have it here somewhere as well. I've done some test runs, so we don't have to type it in. There we go. Oh, okay, I've resized it twice. It went down and then I've brought it back up again. So I'll just change the number here to 1, and if I go ahead and press enter, there'll be a warning. So this warning, it says reducing active logical volume to 1 gigabyte. This may destroy your data, file system, etc. So it's asking you, do you really, and I mean really, want to reduce new? You can just type in yes for, you can just type in Y for yes or N for no. Be very careful, think about it, don't rush into it. This is not something you want to do on a bad day when you're nervous or something of a kind. You want to be doing this on a happy day, when something awesome happened to you and you're like, I can do this right now, and then you do it and your day gets ruined. Just joking. Hopefully that's not gonna happen. Okay, just type in Y, press enter, and it says, okay, size of the logical volume, layer 1 new, changed from 4 gigabytes to 1 gigabyte. Logical volume new, successfully resized. Let's go ahead and mount it and have a look at it. I do believe that I have the mount command here somewhere as well. There we go. Now df space -h. Take a look at the last one. It's the same one, I assure you. It's 880 megabytes. 1000 megabytes, 1024 megabytes is 1 gigabyte, and 880 megabytes is 120 megabytes, 134 megabytes short of, if my math is correct. If it's not, feel free to make a shout out in the discussions. I won't mind. I'm happy. I'm happy if you've noticed it. If you've been paying that much attention to have noticed it, that's fantastic. You will never be able to get it right. I mean, okay, you could give it some extra and then repeat this process again and take into consideration those 120 megabytes, but it's probably not going to be the same. It will maybe be more or less, something like that. Depends on a lot of things. So just don't worry about it. It doesn't have to be exact to the last megabyte. When you're measuring the size of something in megabytes, as long as it's not close to a gigabyte or anything like that, it's nothing. It's very small. It's like you're counting pennies in your pocket. There isn't much that you would theoretically be able to do with those pennies, and same principles apply here. So we can go ahead and clear the screen, and that would conclude, and with that I would like to conclude this tutorial. I'm sorry if I've been rather slow in this particular tutorial, but that it was necessary in my opinion, just to show you that you shouldn't rush these things, and to emphasize how potentially destructive this action can be. Unless you absolutely have to do this, don't do it. Opt for other options. If you do everything right, you're not going to damage anything. Everything should be fine, but you know, there's always a chance factor, so keep that in mind. Anyway, I bid you all farewell, and I hope to see you in the follow-up tutorial.